What is going on, YouTube people? Neo here. Good morning, everybody. Little Saturday morning impromptu live stream. I've not done one of these for a while. I've been on a few other channels on live streams, but have not popped on to do my own in quite a minute. So no card shows today. My local show was last week, and then I have another one next week on Saturday. So I figured this would be a good time to pop on and just have a little Saturday morning chit chat, see what everyone's up to, a little Q&A action. But yeah, so as per usual, nothing particular planned. Just kind of see where chat takes us on a wonderful Saturday morning. A little rainy out this morning here. Good morning, CNT. Sorry if the voice is a little scratchy. I haven't been up for very long yet. Just had breakfast. Got some Arnold Palmer action here. So very interesting weekend here in the old hobby land. Both Dallas and Atlanta card shows going on simultaneously at the moment, kind of splitting the marketplace up. Early word is yesterday, Dallas was pretty slow. Ryan from Card Collector 2 tweeted about it. Someone else had mentioned that it was kind of a slower day there, which I don't think is super surprising. You can kind of take it one of two ways, oh man, the end is here. Or probably more realistically, we're 2 weeks before the National. There's another big first-time show in Atlanta that got a lot of buzz going on the same weekend. And most people that would travel in for a Dallas or Atlanta show are probably holding back and saying, the National's in 2 weeks. Why wouldn't I just wait for that? So I talked to Sam very quickly from Women of the Hobby last night on IG, and she said that Atlanta seemed busy, but is a lot smaller than Dallas. But she did say that Atlanta seemed pretty busy, but I haven't seen too much vibe from there one way or the other. So, we'll see how things shake out. I'm going to try to, Dakota from Sports Cards Anonymous, is it Dallas today and tomorrow, I think, or just today? I don't remember. But I'm going to talk to him. I'm going to bring him on the channel one day next week. And same with Sam from Women of the Hobby. I don't know if it'll both be together at the same time or two separate little chit chats. But so we'll get the scoop. I may reach out to Ryan from Breakout. He went to both. But I assume he's super slammed right now and he'll have tons of videos to edit. So maybe I'll see if I could get him on later in the week just to try to get the vibe from both shows. So, what else has been going on? Baseball All-Star break. It's kind of a weird time. There was only like one NBA game this week so far. The NBA Finals is back tonight. We had the Home Run Derby and the All-Star game. Pete Alonso got a big bump from the Home Run Derby for some freaking reason. Ohtani stuff seems to be slightly slowing down and slightly pulling back, probably just because he hasn't hit a home run in a week and had a mediocre showing in the Home Run Derby. I don't know why they paired him up against Juan Soto in round one. That was stupid. I understand why they did it, like how they seeded it, but that's just dumb. There's some aspects of the Home Run Derby that are pretty silly, if you ask me. So baseball's about to get the limelight because, the NBA season is going to be wrapping up really quick here. And I don't know. To me, it seems like the Bucks may have figured out the Suns, but we'll find out. We'll see what happens tonight in Phoenix. I think that'll be a very interesting game to see. So let's pop over to chat really quick here so I do not fall too far behind. Looks like you've really dove into baseball. You've been sticking exclusively to Topps, or have you begun dabbling in Bowman? It's first as well. For the time being, I've basically been sticking to Topps Chrome. Specifically looking for refractors, either base refractors, pink. I'm a big fan of the pink. Sapphires if I can afford it, but they're pretty expensive, obviously. Numbered stuff too. A lot of it is it's just kind of top of mind. You know what I mean? We all fall prey to like, is it the best time to be buying baseball? I don't know, but it's fun. I'm in like, I talked like I wanted a piece of Otani stuff. I sold the pink, so I bought the PSA 9 pink. A lot of it's not so much. How do I want to say this? Um, I'm just buying where I see value, I guess, and it just happens to be that I think there's value in baseball right now. I think there's a lot of value in basketball too. I've been really looking at a lot of basketball stuff lately. But like I bought the Otanis on StarStock because they were way too cheap. They had slipped through the cracks, like what happens on StarStock with stuff. So I picked up the PSA 9 refractor, the PSA 9 pink, and the PSA 10 sepia because they were just undervalued compared to where the rest of the market was treating them. So I bought them. The Vlad stuff that I've purchased, I bought all of that because one, I do like the player. I've completely come around on him this year. He had 2 home runs last night. I think his stuff is poised to go on a run. If Otani slows down at all, and I'm not talking price wise, just like hitting wise, Vlad could blow past him and not lock up. I mean, Otani would really have to fall off to lose AL MVP, but Vlad has a legitimate shot for Triple Crown. And, we'll see what happens. The biggest reason why I went for the Vlad stuff is because when you look at him compared against any of the other young players, like the top tier young players, his stuff's the cheapest and he has the best numbers. So it just didn't make sense. And I understand there's risks with Vlad. He doesn't have the defensive capabilities. He has, weight issues and stuff like that. But for right now, the dude is crushing the ball. So if you guys have baseball questions, just fire, man. If you guys have questions, I see. I have a baseball question for you too. Just fire, man. I'll work my way through the chat. So, Giannis, Bill Simmons has talked about it a bunch on his podcast. This finals appears to be the Giannis coming out party to this point. Now, a lot of stuff can change. He could go 1 for 15 from the free throw line tonight, and the narrative will completely flip again. This is a very much the sports world, whether it's cards or just general sports talk, is very much in the moment. And we get caught up in that sometimes. That's why when I had Filmington on talking about baseball, I was asking about, this current crop that gets propped up so much, the Acuñas, the Sotos, the Tatises, the Vlads now, and the Otanis. Are these guys actually like the next great thing, or is it just the shiny new thing? Which is it? So, but yeah, Giannis could stink tonight, and then the whole narrative will switch again. But the 2 games in Milwaukee, and even the last game in Phoenix, game 2, which they lost, it looked like things suddenly clicked for him, and he's like, okay, basically going Super Saiyan on the Suns, which is interesting. I mean, I've been a big proponent of Giannis. A lot of people don't like him and have said that he's not that good. He'll never win an NBA championship, this, that, and the other thing. And my stance has always been the guy's one of the best defensive players in the year. He's a 2-time MVP. Yeah, he can't shoot threes real good, and he's a little weak at the free throw line, but no player is perfect. And he looks pretty damn good. So, thoughts on Topps paper parallels? Are they worth picking up? I mean, they could be. I just personally, whether it makes sense or not, like the Chrome cards. So I generally try to stay away from paper if I'm buying. That's just me, though. Not saying that you absolutely couldn't enjoy collecting paper or making money off the paper cards, or that they don't hold value. If a player's value is going to go up, like if you bought Otani paper, guess what? You're still making a bunch of money on Otani cards. If Vlad wins Triple Crown and goes absolutely nuts the second half of the season like he did the first half of the season, and his stuff goes up, his card values across the board will go up regardless of what it is. So it's all relative to each other. And I know the Vlad paper specifically is pretty popular, the no numbered, because it's like kind of short print, not bat down short print, but like shorter print. So that one gets a lot of love. It actually usually outsells the Chrome. It's one of the few paper parallels that outsell the Chrome card price wise. I don't have one just because personally I would rather have spend a little more and buy a refractor, a base refractor for say 450 of Vlad instead of paying 275 for a no number. Excuse me. But that's just me. KPJ. Oh, why do you got to hit me in my heart and soul? Um, I mean, if they're like super cheap, I think he's a decent play for a quick flip because we know here's okay. There's a ton of risk in him because of off court shenanigans. We've already seen that before. He could easily get in the trouble again. That is 100% on the table. So you have to be very careful holding his stuff for long term because he has proven that he has off the court issues multiple times. But the guy can flat out ball. The on court talent with KPJ was never the question. When he gets opportunities, he puts up big numbers. We showed that, or he showed that before he got injured last year. And I think, if he comes out and throws up big games again, his card prices will most likely go up because that's what happens. But I would not be like, oh yeah, I'm getting into this KPJ stuff and I'm going to ride it out for like 2-3 years. I think you're getting into someone like KPJ. You get in it dirt cheap at the floor if you can. You hope he pops off, and then you look to move it. That's what I did. I bought a lot of his stuff in 2019. A lot of that was because I liked the player. I thought his stuff was real cheap, and he also happened to play for the Cavs, which helped me specifically. And he popped off multiple times, and I sold into the multiple waves. And I even bought more when he first went to Houston and his stuff spiked just a little bit. I bought a lot more because I knew it was going to happen. Houston was a terrible team and he was going to get plenty of playing time once he got there. And he did, and he went nuts until he got hurt. So I think it's a KPJ stuff on the floor is a play. I wouldn't go crazy and I would be careful just because of the off the court issues. That could be the case, but Vlad getting flat again, but that wouldn't happen. That's an off season thing. He's not going to get fat in season. And it's kind of the self-fulfilling prophecy. Like, he came into this season in really good shape and he's absolutely obliterated the baseball. So don't you think he's going to want to do that again next year? Like, oh yeah, I did this last off season, came in great shape, and look at the season that I had. I got rewarded for it. So you want to chase that stick again. You want to chase that carrot again. So you would think he would go into the off season again and not rest on his laurels, but who knows? I love Soto stuff. I wish I had more of it. The only thing I have is 2 base papers, and I'm sad about it. I have been trying to find Soto stuff, but he doesn't have a lot of affordable refractors. And I'm trying to stay away from base chrome, even though I would take one at the right price. There's just other things I would rather buy. There is a very specific Soto card I would like to get my hands on, and I've been trying to get my hands on, but I just cannot find one at current comps, essentially. So, good morning, Global. I signed up for a StarStock account this week. Any general advice that I may not know about the platform? If you buy A's, don't send them home. You could send B's home. B's are 100% flippable. Like, people underrate B's. The stuff that is liquid on there is base, whatever the main product is for the sport that you're buying. So if it's basketball, base Prism is the most liquid. If it's football, Prism is the most liquid. The other stuff moves slower. Low dollar stuff moves pretty fast. High dollar stuff can sit depending on your price point. You could get deals on graded stuff when the things slip through the cracks. And people just post stuff too cheap sometimes. That's like, I got the Otanis on there. I showed it in the video the other day, the mail day video yesterday. I picked up the purple Eloy for $200 on there yesterday at auction. One went for $390 on eBay. Like I said, this popped up and I was like, that's just way too cheap. That's not priced correctly. And I just grabbed it. Um, Start small if you're just starting out on StarStock. Once again, I don't know your budget, but start with the base level stuff. You want to buy into players that you think are going to pop off and that you can quickly flip. Because you got to remember, you can move in and out of this stuff fast. So Topps paper are numbered with the push on Chrome Topps Gold. Yeah, Topps Gold are pretty cheap. They're not bad looking cards either. Um, Once again, personally, for aesthetic purposes, I would prefer like that Eloy purple numbered versus the gold version. That might not be smart, and I get it. The gold might be a more desirable card. I just like the way the Chrome cards look. I'm a sucker for it. What can I say? I'm a modern basketball guy coming into the baseball world and buying Chrome. I'm the fish, I guess. Thoughts on Joe Orlando leaving PSA? I saw that news come across yesterday, and I was like, "Is this? Should I make a video on this?" And my general answer was no. I don't really think it's. To me, it's like the most expected thing to happen ever. Like shocking, Nat Turner spent a bunch of money on a company. Nat Turner wants to run the company, so he's going to replace the guy that was running the company, the CEO. Like, I feel like this was destined from the day that the paperwork was signed. And it was just a matter of he probably had something in his contract that he was there for X amount of time or whatever. Um, so I'm not surprised by it. Like on one hand, I don't know the guy at all, at all. I don't know anyone at PSA. Um, on one hand, you want to give the guy credit for building PSA to what it was because PSA built to what it was under his watch. So you got to give him props for that. But on the flip side, PSA got into the situation it did today with the massive backlog and all the shenanigans under his watch as well. Like he could have probably reacted quicker. He was dealt a bad hand though. Like the the hobby boomed during COVID, and to try to expand and hire and staff out a company during strict lockdowns, especially in California, could not have been easy. So, but I don't think it really shifts things majorly one way or the other. To be sure. Lou Bob Yellow. I always forget about the Walgreens exclusives. That's 80 pop in PSA 9 or PSA 10 or just complete total on the PSA registry. Um, my problem with stuff like this, not saying that it's not a good play, because once again, if the player plays well, everything goes up. I always worry about the liquidity of stuff like this because people don't know that it exists, if that makes sense. Ooh, 12 a.m. Good night, then, Define. I haven't looked at prices lately. I have two DACs. I have a DAC Optic PSA 10, and I have a Silver Prism, or just Prism because there was no silvers, or everything was a silver that year. PSA 9 that I had shipped home from StarStock. I'd have to see where his prices stack up versus everybody else. But last that I looked at DAC stuff, his stuff seemed very reasonably priced. Considering he's on the Cowboys, he's on a high flying offense, and um, should put up good numbers. He was balling out last season prior to the ankle injury. Like he was playing insanely well last season. And I can see that happening again. So football market's in a weird place. I'm not a big fan of the Vladdy update. I'm just not. I don't like the image for one. Two, it's not, considered the true rookie because it's not the one that came out first. It's fine. Like once again, if Vlad's stuff goes up, it's going to be a rising tide lifts all boats situation, so it's fine. But personally, this is just me. I'm sticking to like the mainline Topps Chrome, not the Topps update. But once again, if you get into the card for the right price and Vlad stuff doubles in value, the update's going to double in value too. It'll just be a lower ceiling overall. Nice. I have not bought any KPJ because I still have um, a bunch of raw KPJ. I sold a large portion of it off, but I still have like a pile of KPJ Mojos and Optic Purples and like that sort of stuff. I have one silver prism left, I think, and it's at PSA with Ryan. I haven't bought a mid to high end baseball card yet. All I have are paper tops rookies of the main young guys. For the first high end, would you still go with Vlad? And is there a specific card under 2K? If I was looking higher end, I would look at Vlad or Tatis personally. I would have added Acuna into that list at some, or Soto, any one of those three. And kind of pick your poison depending on how you want. And maybe, if you have 2K, you don't have to put that all in the one card. You could spread the risk around. Like Tatis refractors are about $700. Vlad refractors are about 450, 500. And, depending on if you're talking base, prism, or pink, they all are within a couple $100 of each other. Why you don't have to put that all into one player. You could pick up a Tatis refractor for around 700 or whatever they're going for. You could pick up a Vlad refractor for around 455, whatever those are going for. And then, throw some in the Soto or whoever you like out of those guys. So don't think just because you have 2K, you need to go buy a 2K card. Spread it around. The only guy I would not actively be buying right now is Ohtani. His stuff just seems super high. Unless, if the dude could keep doing what he's doing, who the hell knows? I don't know. I'm still perplexed on what to do with Ohtani stuff. So you should be. Ohtani, the Ohtani situation is the perfect reason why you want to buy a bunch of a guy's stuff if you believe in him, because this is the absolute perfect opportunity to be selling off a bulk of it and setting aside one or two key cards and just free rolling them. And if they crash and burn, they crash and burn. Or if they go to the moon, you're riding the rocket ship along with them, but you made your money along the way, covered your costs and all that jazz, and can get out. So I would say Heritage Chrome, but I am a sucker for Topps Heritage. I love the way Topps Heritage looks. I just traded 4 low-end Zions, Mosaic and Status, 9s and 10s, along with $200 USD for a Giannis Select card. I think that's a pretty good play regardless, just because, the Giannis Select PSA 10 is fairly low pop. I forget what it is off the top of my head, but I know that it's not large. And like those low-end Zions, you can always get in and out of. And Giannis, even if he loses this finals, I do worry this is his best chance for a while. Like if he does not win this NBA finals, I think it could be a while before he gets back to one. And that's nothing about him. It's more the Bucks. The Nets are so freaking good if they are fully operational. And whatever the Sixers end up doing, if Embiid can stay healthy, they spin Simmons off for some new pieces and parts. They're going to be really good. I'm curious to see what the Celtics do. You have Atlanta on the way up. They've proven this year that they are a very good team, and they were not fully healthy. They did not have their second best player, in my opinion, DeAndre Hunter. And Cam Reddish was hurt for most of that, and he showed a little bit of flashes, even though he was terrible all season. So the East is tough. And I think it's not a stretch to say that they're going to have trouble getting back to the finals against the Bucks. But if Giannis wins a title this time, that would give him a ring, 2 MVPs, and I think a Defensive Player of the Year award. So he has a pretty nice resume already and a long way to go. He's not that old. Oh, nice. Love the LeBron PSA 8 as an entry point. Love it, love it, love it. I see they have crept up a little bit. One closed the other day for 2,300, I think, which isn't a huge jump. The PSA 8s are going to move kind of slow. What's up, Neo, in Atlanta for Culture Collision? Are you saying you're in Atlanta for Culture Collision? I am not, obviously. I'm in my basement. I really wanted to go to that show. But I just could not make it work with the National 2 weeks away. Yeah, the White Sox lineup's deep. I'm not super sold on Lubob, but like I said, I took the plunge with a couple pink refractors. I got into them fairly cheap, 125 each, low risk. I bought two of them. Whatever. If they go up, I'll move out of one and maybe roll the dice on the other one. I'm not. I don't know what to do with him. I am not big on unlicensed product. That's just me personally. If you're gonna buy unlicensed, I mean, to me, the unlicensed stuff is a good chase for like a PC. Because like Flawless Baseball, you could get some absolutely gorgeous looking like patch autos and stuff like that. That would be great for a collector. And once again, this is, it's all relative. The stuff's going to go up if the player performs well. The problem is if the player is not performing well and you need to get out of it, the unlicensed stuff is going to be the least liquid. Devers is intriguing. I've been keeping an eye on his stuff. I don't own any Devers yet, but he is on my radar if I could fall into the right card. The landscape mode HGA slabs, I am not a fan of. I don't think they look very good. They're also like if you have horizontal cards and you're putting those in your case to take to a show, it seems like a storage nightmare. I get that it's for display. I also feel like they need a different label, that the label should be different because it looks too small when you stick it horizontal. I feel like they should have a larger label. But that's just me. I would still only use them for PC stuff. Still buying 9.8 CGCs. I have not bought a comic in about a month or so. I have a bunch that I'm watching. There are things that I want to buy, but probably not till after the National. Oh, nice. That's really low. I am not big on buying non-quarterbacks. Mahomes stuff's been pretty stable. There's a lot of stuff built into Mahomes prices. Depending on your budget, and like you could get look at like Luca's Revolution PSA 10s base. I like Revolutions as an entry level. But once again, I don't know what your budget is. I think those are like $300 or $400. Hell, Luca base optic are pretty cheap now. I feel like QB trades would have happened by now if they were going to happen. And I don't think Watson plays this year. I think Dame's going to get traded. I think Dame's wants to get traded. He just doesn't want to come out and say it. I mean, I did that video the other day about basketball. I feel like, at least for the time being, it's leveled out. Whether it's real or not, we don't know. It could dip back down again. But I have been making lots of offers on basketball stuff. The problem is still, it's hard finding, you want to buy at current comps, and a lot of people still aren't selling at current comps. So it's hard to find some of these cards to get people to want to move them. They're still pricing a lot of stuff at older comps. Like I was watching a card on eBay. Latest comp, last three sold were 800, like 850, and 825 were like the last three comps on this card at auction. And I'm watching a bunch of them. So one ended at 800 like the night before, and someone sends the offer out, how you're watching, and you can send an offer out to watchers for like $1,200, which was like $100 off his asking price. And I replied back and I was like, if you want to sell this card at current market price, I will buy it right now. And I countered offered at a little bit above what the last one sold for. Last one sold at like 800. I countered back at 825 and they instant declined. And I'm like, all right, that's fine. Whatever. If you think there's a lot of people that think the prices are going to bounce back, and maybe they do. They very well could. I mean, I was buying the card because I think prices are going to bounce back on it, but a lot of people are just being patient right now, whether that's smart or not. On some stuff, it probably is smart. On other stuff, it's probably not. but people don't want to sell stuff for a loss. So it's this weird middle ground. I watched that from Bench Clear Media. I think they were way overly harsh on that. Like, here's the thing. Like, they were basically saying that the National is going to be a liquidation event, I think was the direct quote. If people wanted to liquidate everything, they would have done it already. There's been multiple Dallas shows. I know it's not the National, but the Dallas show is a pretty big show. There's big shows every weekend now, regional shows. I know, once again, I know it's nowhere near the size of the National. The National puts it to shame. But these dealers are going to those shows. And it's also 2021. You could sell all this stuff online basically anytime that you want to. I just feel like if people were really like, oh, sell it all, this is the end, scene from what the hell's the movie? Like Margin Call? I don't remember. Where the guy's in the boardroom and, how do we fix this? And he's like, sell it all. I feel like that would have just already happened if that was the case. So I don't see the National as a big liquidation event. Maybe there's a little bit of lull after the National. I don't know. Is the market being partially propped up because people are buying up inventory to take to the National for like trades and sales or whatever? So it's, helping stabilize prices and it's not real. I don't know. Nobody knows. And I think they were just a little too definitive in their statements. Like, we don't know. I don't know if it's going to go back up again. I don't know if it's going to go back down again. I look at the data. I cherry pick things that I think that I like and I buy them. I do agree with the video that they were basing that video off of. That, why am I blanking on his name right now? I watch his channel and I'm blanking on his name. I can't remember the guy's name. I'm blanking right now on it. It's too early in the morning. But the guy that made the video about, buying stuff on credit, which I've talked about before, absolutely do not do. Use card money to buy more cards. I linked to that in the community post yesterday. I'm 100%. You should go watch his video. Use card money on cards. Don't use real money. Use fake money. I agree, Global. Which Bakers? Prisms? Or I have a bunch of Baker PSA 9s on StarStock in my inventory. I don't really have much from the current rookie class in any sport. If you look at Tatis's home run numbers compared to his at-bats, it's insane. I'm just not big on the digital collectible space. Yep, 100% agree, JR. Sorry, I'm trying to play catch up in chat a little bit. Back up to where it was? Yeah, I mean, maybe one day, but not soon. It'll slowly start creeping back up again, I think. You're probably right. He's fine. I've never really thought about him from a buy. I would rather buy Devers personally. At this point, I'm just going to sit on it and hold. I think Lucas stuff will go back up. Yeah, I don't know if Luka gets back to like the glory day levels, August 2020 or whatever, but I still think Luka's the future of the league. That would be spicy. They have the pieces to make the trade if they want to put a bunch of stuff in. Do you think HGA will hold any market value? The last 5 submissions I had all graded 9.5. I had to crack and sell raw because HGA and 9.5 are going for half the price of raw. I haven't seen HGA 9.5 go for less than raw, but to be fair, I have not looked at every single card. I think HGA is the perfect company for PC stuff. If you want a PC card slab with a cool fancy label to have in your collection, I think they're perfect for it. If you want to make money flipping, you're probably better off sending to SGC if you're looking for quick turnaround time and the sell for money. Of the non PSAers, if you're looking to grade a card now to flip it fast, it's SGC, and there really isn't another option, in my opinion. I think we're beginning to see it. Whether it's real or not, we don't know. Oh, nice. Yes, vintage will always win. It just all depends on when you bought. You know, when I say fake money, it's just if I want to buy something, I sell something. You know, use the hobby to fund the hobby, as the kids like to say. Sorry, just reading through comments. Yeah, if I want to buy something, I just sell something else. And I also have a pool. You know what I mean? Like I sell a card, I don't immediately put it right back into play again. Like as I've been flipping, I've been building up a little slush fund, and I have that pool of money sitting separate from my air quote real money. That's all card money. Now, I have the added benefit that I throw the money that I don't use to put back into the YouTube channel for like equipment and stuff. I put some of that in that pool. So I'm always getting a constant little trickle in from YouTube ad revenue and affiliate revenue and that sort of stuff. But I funnel that stuff into the card money pool because that's money that I am making off the hobby by making content, whatever. So that's to me, that is play money. That is fun money. So that goes into that pool too. But like, you know, I bought the Vlad Blue, say that 5 times fast, because I bought the Vlad Purple for 1,000 or whatever it was, sold it for 1,700, and then took that 1,700 plus a little bit more and bought the blue. So I'm really only into the blue for like 1,400 bucks. And I had the 1,000 to buy the purple from selling other stuff. So I've had people aren't selling a lot of stuff at comps. I would say a good majority of dealers don't want to accept current comps. So as a buyer, it's hard to buy because of it. Yeah, I agree. So, you know, I posted about it on IG yesterday. I've been looking for this card forever. I just bought Baker Optic Hollow, PSA 10. Love this card. Gorgeous card. I've been wanting one of these for the longest time. They are fairly low pop. They are don't come up a ton. I see them a lot at shows around here. Not a lot, but a decent amount just because I'm in Northeast Ohio. So there's always Baker stuff at shows. And I was at the Hartville show last week and someone had one. And the last one sold for $585 at auction, like 2 days before. And I said, where are you at on the Baker? And he said, I'm at 675. And I was like, and he goes, I know. He's like, one just sold last night for 585 or whatever it was. He's like, I know I'm a little high on it. And he's like, I think the best I could do is like 625, maybe 650. And he looked through my trade stuff to see if he could trade into it. But we really couldn't find a match on equal trade value. And I passed on it. And I said, I'm not going $50 over eBay comps, $75 over eBay comps when one just sold last night. Even though we were off eBay, I would have paid the last eBay comp. So like the last one sold for 580, I would have been happy to pay 580, 590 even for it. But he didn't want, he said the lowest he could was like 625. I thought about it for a while and I was like, nah, I'm good. So one popped up on eBay. It was a Probstein auction, I think. Yeah, Probstein. I got this thing still sitting right here from the package. I bought it at auction for 610 out the door, I think. So I paid pretty close to his comp, but it is what it is. Even if he would have just came down to 6, I honestly probably would have pulled the trigger because I wanted the card. Yeah, the liquidation would come in when they absolutely have to sell. Morning Slab City. Good Twitter follow. Yeah, what does that mean? So if everyone's hoarding cash for the National, I just don't see, if everyone's going to the National to buy, does that make it a liquidation event? I don't know. How much do I think an HGA slab and a 10 would compare to a BGS 9.5 and a PSA 10? I don't think an HGA 10 would outsell a PSA 10. I could be wrong on that. And I know that they're tough to get 10s on. Now that CGC has been recently purchased, do you think the new owners shut them down to catch up and raise prices like the other grading company did? I made a whole video about this, Steven. I posted it 2 weeks ago on a Monday, I think. Maybe last week. Maybe it was last week. I don't remember what day I did it on. It was either last Monday or the Monday before. I don't know that they will. It's a very interesting topic for discussion. I think they'll raise prices first, honestly. I would expect a CGC price increase right after they take over. I don't know that they've officially taken over yet, or if it's still like in the paperwork phase. Everyone knows that it's coming, but if they're not officially in charge yet, but I would expect a CGC price increase to try to slow submissions, and then if that doesn't work, then they could pull the PSA card and close down because they are really backed up. Most sellers selling over eBay comps, money's not being exchanged. That's one reason why the prices of some cards are dipping in the last 2 months. Other factors in play too. I don't disagree with that statement. I agree. BGS 9.5s, especially True Gems or True Gem Pluses, are probably the best value on the market. Yeah, I talked about that in the baseball video last week. That's pretty good considering I paid $1,200 for my one. So it's been holding steady at about $750. I think it dipped way down to between $700 and $800, and I feel like it's just been sitting there lately. I like the card, that's why I bought it. And like I said, I paid about $1,200 for mine. It's in my case somewhere around here. I don't remember where it went. I'm trying to get organized to the National. I don't think so. If it's graded stuff, use my slabs. Use StarStock. Oh, nothing particular, and you collector. I just usually have price movements by card. I just usually keep market movers up in a window. That way, if someone asks something, I just have it at the ready to be able to pull it up and look at it. We were not looking at anything specific. That's just the screen share that I keep up in case I need to pop over there and pull something up real quick. I'm not a big fan of Judge. He's always hurt. Yeah, I haven't spent real. I mean, money's money. It's all money, but you know what I mean. I have not spent any real money on cards in a year and a half. I don't think. Um, Even before I started making money on the YouTube channel, I wasn't using real money for cards. I think I stopped maybe it was about a year. Maybe it was around mid last summer that I stopped putting real money into the marketplace and only used fake money. Nope. Terrible idea. Never pull StarStock A's off eBay or off StarStock. That means nothing. The second it leaves StarStock, it means nothing. It's a raw card. That is a bad idea, in my opinion. Yeah, but eBay's I get it. eBay takes a 15% cut. That's your marketing fee. It's really easy. People love to say like, "Oh, don't use eBay. go sell it on IG or Facebook or whatever. Yeah, go try to do that and then see what a pain in the ass it is. It's not easy. You got to post the card, then you got to deal with comments, then you got trolls, then you got this, that, and the other thing. Then you got ridiculous, what you're going to get lowball offers everywhere. That's nothing new. Or the post gets buried, or the admin deletes it, or and if you the second you move off eBay, people want massive deals. Like you're not going to get unless it's an extremely hot card. You are not selling a card off eBay very rarely for full eBay comps. So you're going to take a discount anyway. Like you're going to lose 10 to 15 to 20% the second you move off eBay because people don't want to pay full eBay comps off eBay. So it all gets factored in. Yeah, you get an extra 15% on eBay. You know, you sell it for $1,000 on eBay, you net out, what is that, 850 or whatever it is. But if you took the same card to a show or took it on Facebook or Discord or IG, people are going to expect to pay around 800 to 850 for it. Because the first thing they're going to say is we're not on eBay, you're selling 10% seller fees. Even if we use PayPal goods and services, you're saving 10%. So how about we do 875? Oh, cool, you made an extra 25 bucks. But it probably took you way more time to try to sell it. Whereas if you throw it up on eBay, people have saved searches. It's instantly going to pop up if it's a card someone wants. You can immediately get offers. You can just run it at an auction and, run the risk. eBay is not perfect. Don't get me wrong. But to sit there and complain about them taking a large cut, that's your marketing expense. You're paying 15% for marketing. Just like if you were selling any other product, you're paying 15% for advertising. And it's not even 15%. It's 13 whatever. But to sell a non-super liquid player off eBay is not easy unless you're willing to discount the card. And then if you're going to take a huge discount on the card, we're all right back where we started anyway. eBay is not perfect. They have tons of flaws. Don't get me wrong. But they get a little more hate than I think they deserve. I think Baker has the better team. Josh Allen's probably more talented just because of size. He has the rushing ability. Yeah, the Yankees seem like they're in a weird. I don't know what to do with that team. No, I don't think so. I don't like that Acuna knee injury. I worry how that affects his stolen bases going forward, and a lot of people liked Acuna for 40-40 purposes. Yeah, I don't think they ever go full AI. Ooh, I'm way behind on chat. You just walk away. You just move to the next table. Oh, I know. I wouldn't be surprised if another one's coming. Yeah, then you just don't buy from them. You just move on. Eventually, the rubber is going to hit the road. I am trying to buy Luca. I have one very specific Luca. Wow, there's a handful of specific Luca cards on my radar. I absolutely buy that PSA wants a $15 price point again. I don't think it'll be soon. You're talking like 6 months to a year from now, but 100%. If they ever catch up, they are going to want to grade every card they possibly can. And they will price it accordingly to literally close down everybody else, or at least most of them. If PSA catches up and they can offer aggressive pricing, I don't know what that means for the smaller grading companies. Like, who's going to use HGA if PSA has an affordable grading with okay turn? I think you're still, even for $15, you're probably still going to be out without the card for like 8 months. So maybe that's a problem. But if PSA ever got to the point where their backlog was mostly cleared and they were fully staffed, fully operational Death Star, and they could offer competitive pricing with competitive turnaround times, most of these other companies would never get used. I think a lot of the stuff at PSA is a lot of junk, to be honest. I think most of the Zions have been graded, to be honest. I've talked about this a ton. A lot of the early 2019 stuff has already been graded. What is sitting at PSA, in my opinion, is Kevin Porter Jr.'s, Brandon Clark's, uh, Jaren Jackson Jr., uh, like that to lower levels of players. Jonathan Isaac, um, that sort of stuff. Darius Garland's, though Darius Garland's a little bit higher level player than that, but anyone that had a Zion, a Luka, a Trey, Prism, sent it the second that they opened it. I don't think a lot of that stuff's sitting in these big bulk backlogs. I think a lot of Kevin Porter Jr.'s and that level of player is a lot of Cam Reddish sitting in that backlog. I think that's the stuff that's sitting in there. Yes, Zion's pop count's going to go up. I don't think Zion PSA 10 is going to reach 50K pop count. Is it going to be over 20K? Yeah, it almost is, but it's not going to be 50K. No, I think they honestly just got completely hammered. People can't buy when a majority of their cards are stuck at PSA. It takes cash out of the market big time. Yes, but also the value of those slabs have dropped down quite a bit. So, Luca, basically. I have a very limited window of players that I want to buy. I am not going crazy. This is a very smart way to do this. Don Juan says he set up a completely different bank account just for cards. I did the same exact thing. I have a savings account that the money deposits into a checking, and then I move it into a separate savings account for like anything that sells off eBay. When it dumps into my checking, I then move it into a separate account, and then it just sits there. And then I have like the stuff. So I have that account plus what I keep on my PayPal. I don't know if I agree with this. I think the Otani, unless Otani comes out in the second half strong, like he needs to have a good next couple weeks to keep his prices where they are. I think Otani is going to cool a little bit here, unless once again I could say that and he could hit 3 home runs tonight, and then it's right back where we started. I do think Topps Chrome LeBron could be a feeding frenzy. I think everyone's going to be looking for that card. It feels like 2008 is happening all over again. Whoops. He does not have a lot of, his rookie cards are pretty. He hit a home run yesterday. Exit velocity wasn't very high, but every Yankee prospect for the last 20 years has been a hype job. Have you said what type of content you'll do to the National with other creators, recaps, etc.? I haven't for sure yet, just because I'm going into the National fairly loosey goosey. I know that I'm not going to record a ton of on show floor stuff. I'm going to get some, but my plan is going in anyway, and maybe this changes once I'm there, is to not record a ton of on show floor stuff. One, I just personally want to take it in through my own eyes and not through the lens of my camera. Two, if I'm legit trying to get stuff done, the camera gets in the way. And I feel like the vlog footage, shooting it solo and trying to just get anything done is very hard. Ryan from Breakout's really good at it. I'm not. It's just not a skill set that I have. So I will definitely be putting out content from the National for sure. I will be doing end of day recaps for sure. Whether it's just me, whether it's other content creators, it just depends on who's laying around, basically. I am sure I will have guests on the channel at the National. I plan to record some roundtables at the National if I can. We'll see. A lot of it's just really playing it by ear. The only thing that I am 100% doing besides the show that I have committed to right now is Card Collector 2's trade night on Thursday. I will 100% be at that. Like, lock it in. And then there's some parties going on Friday night that I've been invited to that I will probably go to at least multiple of those, depending on what's going on. But I am trying to stay as loose as possible for the National so I can kind of jump to whatever looks spicy, if that makes sense. I'm not a big fan of ComC. I know a lot of people that make money on there. I just, not for me. I should try to dig in more, but a lot of stuff has slowed way down. You know, I gave a bunch of examples of NBA stuff that slowed down. So I feel like I missed the boat on Star Wars stuff. What's the hottest comic right now? I don't. Well, X-Men stuff and first appearance of Kang is super hot right now. What is the Vegas vibes like right now, Elliot? They're trending in that direction, Don Juan. I wouldn't disagree. Yeah, but I can't see them rebranding CSG and the BGS. Maybe they would. I don't know. That would be like a death sentence to. I feel like if Blackstone was going to do that, they would have just bought BGS. I think they want to try to build CSG into a major player, which they have a long road to climb. We don't. The tribe's a mess. They're on my list. I'm still pissed at them for changing the name. I hate their owner. I cannot stand Dolan. I am not super versed in the old school Topps Chrome green versus non-green market, so I don't want to give you a number because I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Rui. Flipping Steve loves Rui. You're not wrong, Dustin. Do I follow the Magic market at all? It's been blowing up with in-person play and events opening back up. I follow it loosely. I watch a lot of Rudy's content. I have not bought any Magic product. I play MTG Arena all the time, but I have not played in-person Magic in 10 plus years. I have not bought a physical Magic card in 10 plus years. But it seems like they're really heading down like the sports card path of like limited prints, and they're not doing numbered cards, but just these short print variations of everything's a short print variation. There's like 75 different versions of the same card anymore. Box prices seem weird. Supply constraints seem weird. A lot of things don't make sense when it comes to cards, Butch. But so to kind of take this point a step farther, why would someone spend money to get base Jaren Jackson Jr. rookie graded makes 0 sense? Well, last year it did make sense. This year it doesn't. So that stuff was submitted last year when it made sense to do that because they were selling for large sums of money. There's always going to be a place for trendy players in PSA 10. The problem is, and you also have to remember, a lot of the stuff sitting in the backlog, excuse me, people paid $20 to grade it. They did not pay today's current market prices to grade it. They did not pay $200 to grade the Jaren Jackson Jr. base. They submitted it bulk and they paid $20 to grade it. You have to keep that in mind. There's always going to be somewhat of a demand for base stuff because there has to be a low level entry point for everybody. Not everybody is walking in with $10,000 and buying Luka Optic Hollows for 4K a pop. There are people coming in with a couple $100 that want to get cards of their favorite players or players that they want to invest in or whatever. And you're probably going to start with base rookies. That's how I started. The first cards that I bought were base rookies. And then, you start flipping your way and moving your way up to bigger and better things. So there's always going to be somewhat of a market for the base stuff. The prices will recorrect so that, a base rookie of a non-key player isn't $300 like KPJ was for a hot minute or whatever. But it's all relative and everyone needs an entry point. So base is always going to have some level of play. Late release 2020, 21. I'm curious. I mean, like I went to CC2's trade night. I saw a lot of select football on HGA slabs. I think a lot of people or SGC slabs. Sorry, I've been fighting a sneeze for like 20 minutes. You're not wrong there. I haven't checked his prices. There's definitely a play to be made there. I am sure. If he comes up, he'll get a bump just based on the call up. He was really good in spring training. I don't know what he's been doing in the minors. I don't follow the prospect game very hard. Sure, Global. Anything specific you're looking at? It all depends. We'll see. We'll see how he comes out. I agree, Tron. I mean, I know what my strengths and weaknesses are. What's up, cardgo.com? Yeah, I really haven't checked in on his stuff very much. Oh, nice, Elliot. I do think Lillard. I do think Lillard will be traded. Say that 5 times fast. It depends on where he goes. I would rather, and this is going to be one of those things that you're not going to know. I think wherever he gets dealt to, those guys will see the bigger bump than Lillard will, if that makes sense. But it depends on where he goes. I agree with everything Dustin said there. There's a lot of low end chatter about Fortnite stuff. He's just not sexy. There's shinier objects in the room now. What's up, Soma? I don't. Switching grading scales midstream seems like a nightmare ask. I will be there Thursday through Sunday, and I'll be at Card Collector 2 Trade Night Thursday night. Well, Leonard's probably going to miss all next season, so I'm not real big on Leonard long term. I did see it. I commented on it earlier. It was no big deal. I thought they were a little overly critical. My quick take was, if the hobby wanted to have a mass liquidation event, it's 2021. There's massive shows every weekend, and there's multiple online outlets to dump your cards. So I think if people wanted to sell, they would have sold already. I had some really nice stuff when I played way back in the day. Nothing crazy high on. I never had any Power 9, but I had a lot of revised dual lands and stuff like that I sold off. I really like blue velocities. I wouldn't mind having one in a PSA 10. Whoever you think. Do your homework. I don't give the answers to the test. I give the tools for you to find the answers. SGC comps, I don't know. I I personally don't. I really don't. I think they'll be fine. I think you can make money with SGC, but to sit there and say that they're going to catch PSA and comps, I think is a fool's errand. But that's not saying that you can't use them for the right cards and churn and burn and make a nice profit buying raw, sending to SGC, and flipping for whatever an SGC 10 goes for. But to sit there and think that they're going to be PSA comps, I don't think that's ever going to be the case. I agree. I think the market is kind of back to like right before COVID-19 levels, which was fine. We'll see till August 2022. Did you ever take a look at Zion Select Premier versus Concourse? Well, I can't. There we go. Alphabet. Concourse. Premier level. Make this a little bigger. It looks about the same. It's a pretty equal gap all the way across. One hasn't sold for a few days. So if I match, let me make the end date 7/11 when the last Premier sold. 375 versus 185. That seems about right. I wouldn't mind getting some Jim Brown stuff for the old, just to have laying around. But yeah, I mean that vintage that stuff's always going to be fine. It's not going to be sexy. It's not going to see massive spikes. I think it's gonna, it'll slowly go up every once in a while. Something will happen to pump it up. It'll spike. It'll pull back slightly and then resume its normal, slow and steady. People are always going to want that stuff. Yeah, I think SGC is viable, but to sit there and say that SGC 10s are going to sell for PSA 10s, I just don't see it happening. Good morning, Clara. He has not announced the location of where it's going to be at yet. He said details to come, but it is locked in for Thursday night. No, they're talking about the national trade night, carddeal.com. He rents out a ballroom at the national. I don't see them moving Towns yet. I do like Towns' stuff. Yeah, Step Back loves SGC slabs. Like I said, you can make tons of money flipping SGC stuff. You absolutely can. But to buy SGCs and to think that in the hopes that they're one day going to reach PSA 10 comps, I think is a fool's errand. I think sending the right cards to SGC to flip is perfectly fine. There's I would use SGC over any of the other four right now. I would use them over HGA and CSG 100%. Not even close. High-end autos, I would still potentially use back at 4. And anything remotely mid to high-end, I am still sending to PSA. I could. I think the whole NIL thing is going to be an interesting situation for college stuff. That stuff still has a limited market. A lot of people don't like it. They want pro uniform stuff. But it could be a situation where you get like these top prospect stuff with autos earlier. Normally you have to wait for the draft product till they're out of school. Now that's not the case. Maybe that makes the college product a little spicier in the years going forward. I don't know. It is interesting, though. I do think it happens. Yeah, SGC's biggest problem is liquidity. I mean, I talk about it all the time. You have to set proper prices, and they'll move slowly. And like I said, I see it. You go to these trade nights and you go to shows, and you have your case, and you open it up, and people reach in. I have all my PSA slabs together. I have all my BGS slabs together, and then I only have 3 SGC slabs right now. I have 3 left that I would love to move. And I can't tell you, probably, I would say 70% of the people that look through my case don't even pick these up. They just don't even pick them up. They'll grab the massive stack of PSA slabs. I don't have that many BGS slabs, but they'll grab the stack of BGS slabs. They'll flip through those. They'll even flip through the raw stuff sometimes and not pick these up. That's probably at least 60 to 70% of people that look through my stuff will not even look at these. And I've had, when you go to shows, I've had dealers specifically tell me, they're like, I don't even buy SGC stuff. If it's not PSA or BGS, I'm not even looking at it. So there's still a large part of the market out there that just doesn't want anything to do with them because they are a pain in the ass to move unless you price them very correctly. 20, this new season of Select, they really ruined it. Paper's just a rough market, and there's a billion of them out there. Go look at like other 2018 stuff of more popular players, and go look at the pop counts of it. I think the Pelicans shake the snow globe. Zion's already starting to saber rattle, it sounds like, about maybe not wanting to be there long term unless they could really start winning. I think they shake the snow globe. You're right. I mean, I've talked about this a billion times before. I'll do it again if I can find the card. Where are they at here? Oh, look at that. I pulled right to it. Which one looks better? The white really pops on the SGC slab. This card, this card, the SGC 10. Oops, I keep doing this backwards because I'm looking at it backwards in the camera. This one looks way better than this one in the slab. I carry both these around with me. I get way more questions about this one than I do this one. Not even close. Prism, I have Trae Young Prism. Looks like garbage in SGC slabs, in my opinion. I just do not think these look good in there. Optic, white card, white border, looks great. Some colored stuff looks great. I really like the way this Job Blue Velocity looks in an SGC slab. This is the worst of all worlds. SGC slab and an SGC 9.5. SGC 9.5 is a death sentence. I think so. Is Select Basketball going to be the same as football, off-centered and retail release too? I don't know about the off-centered part, but I think they're getting a retail release. I'd be shocked. I mean, great if you are. I haven't seen that. This is 100% the play back when you could submit the PSA at reasonable prices. SGC 9.5s were the best crack candidates to send the PSA. Yep, I agree 100%, Elliot. They ruined Select. I'm not a big Jordan guy, so I would hesitate to give advice on Jordan market. I mean, I don't know what 86 Fleers go for, but I guess that would be my answer. But do not run to the bank with that at all. I do not know the Jordan market at all. So I still have 8 cards for my 25. I mean, without knowing what the cards and the grades are and how you're pricing them. Yeah, I mean, you can move SGC slabs. It's not like, but you have to price them accordingly. I mean, Market Movers has SGC in there. The problem is, you know, all right, let's look at, while I have Zion up here on the screen. Let's go over to Prism Basketball. Okay. Base, PSA 10, SGC 10. Fire away. Okay. Over the last 90 days, there's been 26 SGC 10 sales. That's not a lot of data points. There's been 880 PSA 10 sales. So when you're doing stuff like this, you want as many data points as possible. So PSA has the most out there. It's not even close. Vintage is a completely separate conversation when it comes to SGC. SGC gets a lot of love in vintage, justifiably so. That's a good question. I don't know. Let me type in Simone. It looks like they do. Simone's in here. I have no idea what I'm looking at right now. Just fire these in for raw. Yeah, here's Simone's stuff. I don't know that they have everybody in there. I wouldn't even know who else to look up, to tell you the truth. That would be interesting. Now that's interesting. I did not think about that. So the trick is the licensing agreements. And I don't know how that works. Like if you sign a player, so say you got Justin Fields last year or 2 years ago or whatever, are you allowed to show him in his Ohio State gear? Or do you have to have a separate licensing agreement with Ohio State? And I think that's all different depending on the college, the way I understand it. I have not done like a deep dive on this. But what if there was 2 years ago a first Bowman version of Trevor Lawrence? And it gets like the first thing up in the corner and it's first Prism draft or whatever first draft, whatever they want to call it, whatever fancy name they want to throw on it. And then all of a sudden that's that. Would that be treated like an Acuna first Bowman Chrome? I don't know. Bowman has such a long-standing history in the market. I don't know. I don't know if that would eventually flush itself out like that. I can 100% see them doing something like that. That's very interesting. I did not think of it from that angle. I've talked about basketball. I haven't talked about NFL. I'm perplexed by what NFL is going to do. Bolt Olympic cards. Let's look. They just have a Sports Illustrated for kids in here. Shocked if there's any of these in a PSA 10. Yeah, just PSA 9. Whew, $1,500 on a PSA 9. $82 raw. That's a Sports Illustrated for kids card though, so those are rough. So there are some in there. I doubt they have them all. This is probably true. Good point, Elliot. Oh, that's an interesting point, Paul. The GI Joe box is still sitting back there. It's right there, right there, right there. There's the GI Joe box, right with my Marvel Universe boxes and my X Men Jim Lee. Yeah, SGC at $15 a card becomes a lot more viable than 30. I'm not a big believer in the Hall of Fame bump. You can still flip the right cards at 30 as long as you get tens. You just have to be very confident that you can get tens. Let's look at just because he has the most, we were just on him. So, all right, we talked about this. All right, let's do this live. All right, here's Zion Prism Base. This is my go-to for all comparisons like this because there's a billion of them out there. Okay. In a raw, these are going for $85. All right. Cool. It costs $30 to grade it at SGC. So you're into it for, let's just call it $110. Just to keep, let's say these are $80 instead of 85. Let's just keep the math simple. You're into it for $110. Here's the problem. SGC 9, last comp, 713, $114. Zoom in a little bit more. You guys can see this better. $114, last SGC 10 comp. SGC 95, $120. Last sale, 715. So if you're fairly confident and you get a 9 or a 9.5, you break even. If you get a 10, $200. So you made 70 to 80 bucks. We're not going to factor in eBay fees or anything like that here. I just want to keep this simple. So you spent 80 on the card, 30 to grade it. You're into it for 110. If you hit a 10, you made $90. If you hit a 9, you broke even. If you hit a 9.5, you made $5. Okay. On PSA, if you bought, now this is tricky because this is really isn't even possible with PSA right now. $85 for the card. You spent two, which I would not do this. You spent $200 to grade it Express. You're into it for $285. You could sell it for $380. You can make $100 profit. So you actually still make more profit than you do with the SGC 10. But if you hit a 9, it's 130 and you lost your ass. So PSA is really not viable to send a card like this to right now, but you just get the point with the SGC flip. If you catch a 9 or you catch a 9.5, 9.5, maybe you could creep out a small profit on it. 9, you're basically selling it for close to raw. If you hit a 10, you did fine. If you could send 10 cards and you knew you were going to get 70% 10s on this card, that's pretty good. $80 a card, you make it on 3 of them, you break even on the other 3. You make your money and move on to the next thing, rinse and repeat. That's perfectly fine. The problem is if you catch 9s and 9.5s. And if you get a little unlucky or you didn't look things over good and you catch all 10 cards at a 9 or 9.5, I guess you're not losing money. At worst case, you're breaking even, but there's the time that you put into it, the money that's tied up because you spent $110 per card. You sent 10 of them, so you have $1,100 tied up for 2 to 3 weeks, and then you got to sell them on the flip side when they come back. So it just depends. Yeah, Steven, we've talked about it a couple different times already, honestly. It depends, Ken. It depends. Like it's easy to say go buy the SGC 10 slab. Why are you buying the SGC 10 slab? Are you buying it to flip it or are you buying it to collect it? If you're a collector, I 100% agree with you. If you're buying it to move it, I would rather have the PSA or the BGS because it's way more liquid. And if you're doing this to flip, you want the liquidity. If you're sending into grade because you want to send in raw graded to flip, most cards right now you're probably sending to SGC because everyone else is too expensive or too backed up. So it just depends. Yeah, it gets a little dicey, Joel. Thank you, Joel. Two different Joels. Sorry. Ingram. That's interesting. I have not seen that. Thank you, Cranky. I hate redemptions. I have a jaw redemption that's just been sitting. Yeah, it's all, all good, Steven. Maybe. I think that's a very dicey proposition, Elliot, and I wouldn't bank on it. Any concerns about how SH? I don't know what you mean, Jeff. Sorry. Card prices are trending down right now. Wax prices are definitely on the downswing, for sure. They are 100% on the downswing. If you haven't talked about it, if you haven't, smash the like button, people. I don't know how. I have no idea how many likes we're at. I cannot see it in StreamYard. I think a lot of people are holding stuff to send the PSA. Whether it's smart or not, I don't know. It's an interesting thought experiment. Like I see where you're going with it, Elliot. I do. Um, I think there's plenty of stuff laying around and be graded that people don't need to head down that route. I would stick with Topps Chrome personally, or First Bowman. Not really. I honestly think that they fixed a lot of their issues, and I truly wonder how many cards they're getting. Yeah, they're not wrong there. Your personal collecting budget has not changed. This is a great time to buy. Thoughts? I agree. There's a lot of good deals out there. There are a lot of good. I mean, I've been buying a lot lately. I'm not gonna lie. I've spent more in the last month than I probably ever had in the same time period. Like in the last 30 to 60 days, I bought the LeBron Chrome. I bought the Vlad Blue. I bought the Vlad Sapphire. I bought the Baker. I bought the Lubov stuff. And I don't count the StarStock stuff because that's like a whole separate pool of fake money. Now some of that stuff I flipped to flip to flip. I bought Vlad with Vlad money. You know what I mean? Because I bought the purple, then sold that, then bought the blue. Yeah, I don't know who uses them. I really don't. I like their slabs. I like buying them. I wouldn't send to them. I love buying them. Probably 6 months at least. Bull GMA reveal show. Live from the National, Elliot. On center stage. Anytime, Race Rocket. What's up, Simon? Catching the end of it. We've been going for about an hour and a half. Go for a little bit longer. Yeah, you could definitely get into those pretty cheap. I'm not big on the Bowman's Vest and Topps Finest personally. They're fine. I get it. Everyone's got a price point to get in. And some of them look pretty nice. I'm just sticking with just regular Topps Chrome. I don't see Topps ever letting that license go. Perfectly fine way to go. And you can always just sell the stuff raw. Always an option. Always an option. Sorry, just checking a couple things real quick here. Yeah, I just don't ever see Topps. They'll keep that on a strangled hold for that stuff. Topps Chrome. Pre-Panini NFL sets, Topps Chrome. All right, I have officially caught up on chat. So, anyone has any last minute questions, go ahead and throw them in, or any other comments or questions. I'll circle back. I've gone 2 months without buying into a break. Thanks to you for the channels. Thank you. Yeah, breaks are fine. You just have to know what you're getting yourself into. Know what you're getting yourself into. They're perfectly fine, but they're a slippery slope. I do not follow the soccer market at all, so I'm the last person you want giving advice on soccer cards. 86 Fleer Jordan, but I'm more of a basketball guy than a baseball guy. I have not had experience with this, but I have heard CSG slabs are a nightmare to crack. What about Marvel? Marvel trading cards, Marvel comics, Marvel shows? That's an interesting question. Let's look. I have not looked at that one recently. I do like the LeBron Bowman Chrome. I was eyeing that for a hot minute. Rookies and stars. Topps Chrome. Base Chrome. Oops. Oh yeah, I do want both. Base Chrome. I'm gonna zoom this out just a little bit for my own purposes. Okie dokie. The line in the sand on LeBron Topps Chrome PSA 10 was June 25th. So let's start the chart and graph from there. As always, I haven't said this at all this stream. If you want market movers, the link is in the description to all my videos. And you can use code NEO to get 20% off if you want to check this out for yourself. All right, let's see here. All right, Topps Chrome PSA 10 up 40%. PSA 9 up 30%, playing catch up a little bit. Yeah, PSA 10 on the Bowman Rookie and Stars has not moved that much. The last sale is 7.9, so you got to keep that in mind a little bit, but it's basically stayed flat. PSA 10 paper, one has not sold since 6.29. So I don't know that we can put a lot into that, down 11%. PSA 9's up 7% on the Chrome. And paper is up 17% last sale on the 10th. So it does not look like the Bowman has moved as much as the tops, which is not surprising. The tops chrome's been getting all the attention and the love. I am not buying into the Trevor Lawrence hype. Depending on the individual card, I would almost look to just sell it raw, especially patch cards, grade tough. Time will tell, PSA hoops. If I think the auto contend BGS, I've just heard that they are a nightmare to crack. I have no personal experience with it. I'm gonna do a comic book deep dive on Monday, like a market prices and stuff. Um, I'll have additional thoughts on this Monday, and I don't want to give spoilers here. But Loki, the most recent Loki TV show, really set up the Marvel Universe to go pretty much anywhere that it wants to and do anything that it wants to. So it's wide open. It's going to be a money printing machine forever. There is no currently a good grader for Marvel, to be honest. Yeah, those don't pop up very often. I think they'll come in high and quickly drop. That's what we've seen recently with the most recent product. Not big on the Jordan market, so I don't have a great answer for you on this. All right, we're gonna go ahead and wrap. I'm gonna go take a shower and then play some video games. Play some MTG Arena. Maybe get my ass kicked in Dota a little bit. Love playing some Dota, but I suck at it. So yeah, smash the like button on your way out the door. Subscribe if you haven't. All that jazz. We're getting close to 10K. I'm at like almost 9.6, so we're creeping on 10K. So share with a friend. Tell your friends to subscribe. Have your mom subscribe. We're sneaking on 10K. Maybe I'll hit it at the National. That would actually be kind of cool. Hit 10K subs at the National. The YouTube algo shows that I'll hit it in sometime in late August. But yeah. But yeah, glad I could pop on and do one of these. I have not done a impromptu live stream for a hot minute. Let's see. Upcoming content. Let's give a quick little sneak peek preview for what I can think of anyway. Tomorrow, normal Sunday video. Monday, I'm going to do comic book market dive. Look at some prices on some stuff. See where things have been going, because some of that stuff has slowed down a little bit. Other stuff has picked up. It's kind of very moving money all around. I am hoping to have at some point in time, whether together or two separate interviews, Dakota from Sports Cards Anonymous and Sam from Women of the Hobby on to talk Dallas and Atlanta. Dakota is at Dallas this weekend. Sam is at Atlanta this weekend. Maybe I'll reach out to Ryan if he is not too busy and has some time to chat, as well, as he will be at both shows. He's the overachiever going to both shows. So, and then whatever else pops into this little old head of mine. But that's the stuff that I'm at least looking forward to. The only two planned things are the normal Sunday video and then the Monday comic book market update. We're going to do comic book market update on Marvel Monday on Monday. So, but yeah, like, comment, sub, all that stuff. Catch you guys and girls on the next one.